Welcome to Keywest First Legal Rum Distillery. My name is Jason. I'm going to give you guys a tour today. You notice one thing about me, I kind of move strange here and there. It's because I have what's called Parkinson's disease. Now, if you see me jump up on one of these barrels and start hooting and hollering like a pirate, that's because I have rum disease. But that doesn't start till 5, so we're all safe. We are what's called a small batch distillery. We are owned by a chef. His name is Paul Mendon. Paul has been on this island for 30 plus years, running restaurants, owning restaurants, and doing this thing. He's a chef. About 12 years ago, he decided he wanted to try something different, so here we are in his rum distillery. He's been on a few television programs. You guys familiar with Moonshiners? He's been on Moonshiners. He's been on a show recently with Gordon Ramsay called Uncharted. Gordon came out here to the island with his camera crew and his entourage, and basically challenged Paul, our owner, to a food competition to see who the better chef was. Now, if you guys know who Gordon Ramsay is, he's a little hot under the collar, let's say. Likes to cuss, scream, and yell at people. I don't know if it was the ocean breeze or the sand between his toes, but that guy was the nicest person you'll ever meet. Even after Paul beat him on his own television show, he was still in a very good mood. We have a barrel right up there that says, "Thanks, Paul. Love." I love that barrel. Every time I see it, I wonder how many shots of rum he had before he worked one. Now, having a chef in charge of the distillery is a good thing. We don't have to follow rules that other distillers do. First rule we do not follow. We do not use molasses in any way, shape, or form. This is Delaware sugar. This is locally grown sugar cane that's grown here in Florida near Lake Okeechobee. This is raw and unfiltered. So the color, the flavor, the texture, minerals, everything we could possibly want in sugar is still intact. Now this is important to us because this is one of our main ingredients. We follow a recipe from the 1700s. Water, sugar, yeast. That's it. You take 200 pounds of this sugar and throw it in the wash, followed by 150 gallons of water and a top fermenting yeast. Once everything is in here, we close it all up and let it do its thing. Within the first 24 hours, the yeast is going to start devouring the sugar, which is going to cause the yeast to burn. That is the release of CO2. Now this is a very important tool to us because it tells us what's going on inside this tank. After about 5-6 days, the CO2 will stop, the sugar will be devoured, the yeast will be happy, and we're going to have a brown liquid on the inside of this tank that looks like iced tea. 150 gallons of it. This is not rum, and we need this to make rum. Wash this to rum as mash is to whiskey. It's just the first steps in fermentation. Now, if you guys want to follow me over to this side. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take that 150 gallons of that brown liquid that looks like iced tea, and we're going to bring it over here to what is called the stripping still. What this still does is basically strip the alcohol away from the water compound. We're going to crank this up to 171 degrees. The alcohol is going to turn into a vapor. It's going to separate itself from the water compound and climb up that first column, all the way to the top. It's going to switch to that second column, which is a cooling column. That's going to turn it back into a liquid. It's going to fall down to the bottom, into what we call the spiral, into the parrot, and finally into the barrel. Now out of that 150 gallons that we started with, we only get 40 gallons of clear rum. The rest of it is water waste and goes down the drain. 40 gallons of clear rum sitting at 40% alcohol by volume is 80 proof. Now to some distillers, that's rum. 80 proof, good to go, bottle it and sell it. We don't do that. There's a few problems that we have with the rum that we want to take care of before we put our name on it. One of the problems is a shiny oil that develops during distilling. Now this happens to every distillery, whether you're the biggest one in the world that sells millions of bottles or you're small like us. This oil is called fusel oil. Fusel oil is a toxin. It will give you a terrible hangover. 30% of rum distilleries leave it in. They'll mix it up, bottle it, sell it, you buy it, you drink it, you hang over your problem. How do I know this? Research. Now, being a small distillery, the last thing we're going to do is give somebody a hangover. It's not going to happen with us. So we actually take the time and put the effort into getting rid of these toxins, and I'll explain how. We're going to take that 40 gallons that we have, and we're going to put it in the next still. This is called the spirit still. What this still's sole job is to take out toxins. Those little windows that you see are called portals. Behind each portal is a copper plate that fits very tightly into place called a bubble plate. We're going to crank that rum up to 171. This time, it has to pass through each level of distillation. 6 times distilled before it hits the top, crosses over, cools down into the spiral, into the parrot, and again into a barrel. Now, out of that 40 gallons that we had, we only get 30 gallons back. 10 gallons held toxins, impurities, things that we don't want in our rum. They're washed away and gone. Because of that one still, 90% of the toxins are gone. And we're sitting at 160 proof. That's higher than moonshine. Now we've got one last thing we're going to do to get rid of toxins. This is called the chef's pot. We take that 30 gallons that we have left, we pump it up into the top of that pot. We attach those 2 copper tubes that are basically filters filled with carbon powder. We hit those little switches and let it drip into the barrel for about 8 to 12 hours until that 30 gallons goes all the way through. Knocking out another 8% of toxins. So at this point, we're 98% toxin free. That's good. We're on the right path. Now this whole scenario took me 5 minutes to explain, pretty quick, from the washes to the stills, to the chef's pot, to the barrel. In reality, to make one barrel of this size, it takes 12 days. It takes all 4 of those washes back there. There's 2 on each side. That's a total of 800 pounds of sugar, 600 gallons of water, not to mention the yeast, just to make one barrel. Now this barrel is what we call our mother rum or our base rum. It is what we use for everything we do, whether it's barrel aging or naturally flavoring. Now if you guys want to step up and take a gander at this is 160 proof rum straight out of the barrel. He sounded like Donald Duck on helium. Wow, that was terrible. Wow. I bet it was. Parents went. Oh yeah. All right, so this is what we're going to do next. We're going to taste this. What you're going to do is you're going to hold out your hand like this. I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons right in the palm of your hand. Take 2 fingers, touch it, and taste it. Give it a couple seconds, and do it again. Touch it, taste it. Give it a couple seconds. You want to do that as many times as you can. You're going to be able to do that maybe 3 or 4 times before it evaporates out of your hand. Now there is a reason why we do this, but I'm going to tell you this. It's not going to taste like moonshine. It's not going to taste like horrible, nasty, hot alcohol. It's actually going to be delicious. That's actually my favorite part of the tour when everybody looks at me like I'm crazy.
He is crazy.
Okay, just a little extra for right now.
Well, I say this. If you trust an Uber driver, trust a guy with a turkey baster full of 160 proof rum. That she doesn't. So that solves one situation. But the reason why all those flavors are existing is because of the demerara sugar. It's pretty much raw sugar cane. It's not over-processed. So all the minerals are still in there. When the minerals clash with our priority yeast, it causes all those flavors. So at 160 proof, that was delicious, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was.
Now we do 2 things with this high proof rum. We either barrel age it or we naturally flavor it. If we're going to naturally flavor it, we'll take one of these blue plastic food safe barrels. We'll throw 20 gallons of high proof rum in there, but let's say Madagascar vanilla beans for our vanilla brulee.
Yeah.
Or we use Kermit's Keywest limes for our Keywest lime rum. We do a Cuban coffee rum, 20 pounds of double roasted Cuban coffee beans. 20 gallons of high proof rum, we'll leave it in there for 4 weeks. It's like making cold brew out of rum. Delicious.
your birthday. If you're not making all the good.
That's his favorite, is the coffee. That's Craig, he's one of the distillers. Now here's something that we can say that a lot of distilleries can't. No artificial colors, no artificial ingredients, no artificial flavors, no preservatives, no chemicals. Rum and natural flavor. There's enough garbage in our food, I don't want my safe spot. Now, this is where it gets interesting. We do two different types of barrel aging. The first one is for the Bad Bitch. That is our #1 selling rum and has been since the day we opened. There's a story behind this. Back in the 1920s during Prohibition, a lady lived on our island. Her name was Spanish Marie. That was her nickname. She was a very, very wealthy businesswoman. She was a rum runner. She had 15 ships under her fleet and ran illegal rum all over the Caribbean islands. She was basically a pirate. And at some point in her life, her name changed from Spanish Marie to the Bad Bitch. This is all true. Now, she loved to drink rum, and she loved to drink red wine. Her thing is she would mix them together. Why? She couldn't mix it with water. The rum was too high proof. They didn't have water on the ships in the 1920s. It would basically sit for months at a time, maybe 8 months while they were on the ship, go rotten, and they'd end up with dysentery and die. So might as well double fist it. Now, our chef had to come up with a flavor profile for that, which he did. The barrel with the red stripe right there, that is a 7-year-old Pinot Noir barrel from France. We get that shipped to us. When we get that barrel, it's empty, but for 7 years it held that wine. We throw that high proof rum in, let it sit for 2 years on that shelf. After 2 years, all the colors, the flavors, the tannins, everything that was in that wine barrel is now infused into our rum.
Okay.
This one, we called her little sister. This is the Bad Bitch Blonde. This one is aged in Chardonnay barrels. Now the raw and unfiltered, this is my favorite out of all the rums we have and make. This one is quite different. We take these white American oak barrels. We char the inside to a #3. That's what they do for whiskey and bourbon. Burn the inside of the barrel out. We do it for color and flavor. Now, if you go on our website, our Instagram, or our Facebook, you're going to see a video of this. We take these barrels outside and roll them down the street to the Gulf of Mexico. We throw them in the water. We fill them full of salt water. We bring them back. We let them sit for 48 hours with that salt water in there. What that's going to do is swell the inside of the barrel, open up all the pores. We then dump it out after 48 hours and let it dry for another 48 hours. Total of 4 days. At that point, we have a salt-cured, charred barrel. We throw that high-proof rum in, let it sit for 2.5 years. After 2.5 years, we get the raw and unfiltered. The color is from charring the barrel. The flavor profile is why it's my favorite, because it has all the characteristics of whiskey and bourbon. So I've used it to make an old-fashioned, a Manhattan. It tastes great as a sipping rum with a single ice cube in a rocks glass, or my favorite, which is a dark and stormy ginger beer, dark rum, and a splash of lime over ice. Two very unique ways to barrel age rum that I guarantee nobody's doing but us. Any questions? So far, so good?
Yes.
Okay. We make the rum in this room. We barrel age it in this room. We naturally flavor it in this room. And we bottle it. We put the stickers on the bottle. We put the rum in the bottle. We put the cork in. And we heat seal it. We do everything in this one room. And last year we did over 40,000 bottles.
Oh.
That's
How much do you lose from 7 years of aging?
about 6%. We don't open them very often. They just kind of do what they do. Any other questions? That mountain of pineapple juice and that huge mountain of cream of coconut is how we make our pina coladas. There's a few other things in it, so you're not getting the secret recipe, but it is the best one on the market. Any questions? All right, you guys got those red tickets? Let's see if we can give away a prize. I'm gonna pull one number. Whoever has that matching number, you guys out that door right there. If you have any questions, please ask. While I'm out there with you guys. If you think I did a good job personally, I do have my tiki head tip jar there by the door. I got 15 chickens in my neighborhood that if I don't feed them, they will poop all over my Jeep.